Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Kitsap Quiz Night here on this marvelous Thursday in March. How's everybody doing this evening? I can't hear you. I want to hear you again. That's better. Okay. It is Kitsap Quiz Night's 13th anniversary tonight. So I just want to make a quick shout out here that we are so excited to have you for this. And I just want to thank, all night long, I'm going to thank each and every one of you for opening your hearts to anybody who walks in that door, challenging your minds, and above all, creating the best damn quiz night this side of the Mississippi. We do amazing. So much fun to be with all of you in the Quiz Night family. But as we have been doing now for, I think, 6 or 7 episodes or so, we are hosting another episode of Local Legends, part of Smokestack. Very excited about where Bill Mann and Smokestack are going and this podcast. And tonight, as I always say in each and every episode, we have nothing less than a Kitsap local legend. Will you please put your hands together for Colleen Miko, everybody? Really good to be with you tonight, Colleen. Thank you so much for being here. Now, is anybody out there familiar with BCAT, our local public access channel? Yes. They do great things in our community. They tell stories about lots of different people and what they're up to and interesting projects. Colleen has been the station manager for now the last 2 years. That's is that right? Yes. Okay. All right. And you have a breadth of experience, but I want to start there. How did you get involved with your local public access channel?
Well, it really just fell in my lap, frankly. But I got involved because I was taking a break, looking for a new career after working with WSU Kitsap Extension. And COVID made that break a little longer than I thought it was going to be. And so to keep myself entertained, I volunteered at BCAT to do a gardening show, which I had done in the past with Peg Tillery when she had a gardening show in 2000s.
That's great.
And we pitched the idea and started doing it, and the next thing you know, I was working there.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of great shows. You're featuring Smokestack in an episode upcoming. I hope I'm not giving away anything I shouldn't be, but
this is great.
Featuring Bill Mickelson
yes.
on Engaging Kitsap. Commissioner's Corner, there's lots of great titles. What is your goal, and what are you trying to accomplish in terms of telling the stories of people on the peninsula?
Oh, wow. Lots of goals, but our mission really is threefold. We really want to get people to be civically aware and providing lots of coverage of government meetings and candidate forums. You know, here we are in an election year, and we have a lot of content to educate people so that they can put the right people to represent them. And so that's part of our mission. Another part of our mission is to give people a voice on a non-commercial television platform. You know, people that are in the community doing wonderful things can share their passions. Even if they don't have the technical skill to create video, we can assist. Yeah. And then the third piece is kind of like what Smokestack does. We want to celebrate the local community in a really positive way. And so we have our own productions in-house where we're going out and we're covering cool things like Krampus Bremerton. And we just did a feature on the West Sound Roller Derby. Fabulous team. And then you and I just worked together last fall talking about the Bridge to Bridge Trail.
That's right.
So, hyper-local, positive things that don't get covered in the regular news coverage.
Yeah, I know for me personally as a journalist, one of the important things, honestly, that came out of a pandemic was better access. A digital revolution combined with the pandemic equaled better access to what our governments are doing, how they make their decisions, from C-SPAN down to the state at TVW and then in our local communities. Super important in an age where misinformation can spread quickly. Getting good information is so important these days, and I'm really happy to hear that's a goal of yours as well. How did you kind of arrive in Kitsap County? I want to go with the backstory. I know you're from Southern California.
Yes.
Tell me what brought you here.
Well, I was living in San Diego with my fiance at the time, and he got transferred up here for his restaurant career. And he said, I just got transferred to, Puget Sound. and will you go with me? And I had been here as a kid camping and loving it, and I said, heck yeah, I'll go. And he said, well, then will you marry me?
Oh, wow.
And I said yes, and we eloped.
Wow.
And bought a house in Port Orchard, and it's 30 years, both married and living in our house now.
Wow. Okay, congratulations.
Yeah, thank
That's
you.
So cool.
Thank you.
And I understand you have one heck of a green thumb. We already talked about working with Peg Tillery and putting together a gardening show.
Yes.
Where does that come from? Does that come from childhood, or is that something, I know for me personally, I meet a lot of people on the Kitsap Peninsula that fall in love with growing things because this is an excellent place for things to grow.
It is, yeah. Well, my mom was a gardener,
okay.
and my grandfather, and so I learned when I was a kid. But I got about 3/4 of the way through my political science degree and realized that I should have studied botany. But I pursued my degree, and then when there wasn't a job for me in the State Department, I went to work for a nursery.
Okay.
And then started a business doing landscape maintenance, and I actually had a 74 Cadillac Coupe de Ville.
Wow.
That I put the lawnmower in the trunk using a ramp, and I would go around and mow lawns for people and take care of their gardens, and that's how I got started in the business.
I love that story. That's so cool.
I have to tell you, I spilled grass seed in the back seat.
Oh no.
And it actually germinated in the summer in the carpet of the back of my Cadillac.
Oh wow! So you had a grass patch in a convertible.
I did. I had kind of like a real life lawn in
wow.
Yeah, in the back seat.
Well, which is great because that's a good segue to a topic most people don't know much about, which is stormwater retention. You can soak up some of the rainwater that way.
Yeah.
Now, I wanted to ask you about that because I know that rain gardens, when you were a horticulture specialist at Wazoo Extension,
yes.
You worked on rain gardens, and people don't think about that all the runoff that during our big storms, it's got to go somewhere. Where does it go? Well, it goes into Puget Sound. Well, what if it's dirty? That we have lots of emerging science right now about the morbidity around coho salmon and the fact that within tires there's this compound I think called 6-PPD quinone, and it's not good for fish. So tell me about the establishment of rain gardens and how do they work and why are they important?
Wow, that's not a question I thought you were going to ask me, but...
I'm a rain garden nerd, sorry.
Me too. Well, a rain garden is a very simple depression that you can put in a garden in a well-draining area. It's got to be well-draining. And you put plants in it, and the combination of really healthy soil and the activation of roots will absorb any toxins in the water. And it's a really elegant, simple solution for your downspouts and maybe for rainwater that comes off your driveway. You know, that's like you were saying, the stuff off your tires. Brake pads are a big culprit. You know, the copper is very toxic to fish. Yeah. So, it doesn't have to be a large space, to do the job. Yeah, we have to keep working on that for sure.
I was wondering about, in 2007, I believe, you won a prestigious award from HGTV. Can you tell us about that a little bit?
Wow, you did your research. I would expect nothing less from you. But so I was asked to be on the HGTV show, Landscapers Challenge. And they were doing a series of shows in the Seattle area. And I tried out, and they said, okay, you're going to be on this program. Turns out I knew both the other designers that I was competing against, and they were my friends. So, but it was shot in West Seattle, and I pitched the garden, and it was a children's garden, and the homeowners loved the design, and they picked my design, and I got to watch it being installed, and we filmed the television show, and it was a kick. It was my national TV debut.
That's amazing. And I'm curious, someone as experienced as you at all things gardening, do you have a favorite thing to grow? Spring, we're in the perfect time to start thinking about a garden, but also the perennials, the things that are coming back. I'm a big sucker for rhododendrons and Japanese maples. Tell me what you like.
Right. Oh gosh, choosing a single favorite amongst all the plants of the world is so difficult. But I must say, that I really enjoy the genus Osmanthus, which has some fabulous evergreen shrubs that have fragrant flowers, and they're great for screening and very easy to grow in our climate.
Give me some examples of what would I find?
Oh, the common name is Osmanthus, so I'm going to send you some pictures after this interview, okay?
Maybe Smokestack can post some pictures with this.
Yes.
That would be great. And I kind of just want to round things out with coming back to BCAT and sort of what's the future look like, and as far as the trajectory of making sure we're getting good information out, but also really high-quality programming for the community.
Well, I hope that anybody who's watching this who maybe doesn't know about BCAT or who knew about BCAT back when takes a fresh look at it, because we really do have an incredibly talented, locally well-known crew, actually, that is making some fabulous videos right now. All of our in-house stuff is really fun, and we're making a point of seeking out interesting communities that maybe don't get as much representation as they should, and finding those fun people that we can spotlight and help promote. And we're hoping that people will help promote us also at the same time, because public access television all across the country is disappearing. It's quite sad. And it's, we're losing that access for individuals to be in a non-commercial space and have that venue to express their opinions.
Yeah.
We're missing that ability to have government transparency that we provide. And so, anything in our community, right? You see it.
Yeah.
People say like, oh, it's so great, there's a new restaurant, or wow, there's a roller rink, or whatever, and that's wonderful. Well, if you don't get out and take advantage of it and don't support it, next thing you know, you say like, oh, they're gone. And so, we like to think of BCAT as a local legend, per this podcast. But, we need support too, just like any other local small business or great thing in the community that you want to see stick around.
Yeah, absolutely. And a funny little known fact about your office, a number of you have Mike in your names. Is that right? Okay.
Yes.
So give a shout out. How many mics do we have?
All right. So we have our production administrator, Mike Spencer. We have our awesome video specialist, Mike Barnett. We have our production assistant, Michael Blood. And my last name's Miko. So we have a James and an Icklo as well, and we tried to convince them to change their names when we hired them, but
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, they wouldn't go for it.
Shoot. Well.
So if you're at our office on studio day, just say, hey, Mike, and somebody will answer.
And you're good. Awesome. Well, you've been a delightful guest, and I'm
Thank
so
you.
grateful to have you on. Ladies and gentlemen, one more round of applause for Colleen Miko, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. And to watch all of our Local Legends podcasts, please go to KitsapSmokestack.org. Thanks to the bar, Manette Saloon, for hosting, and we'll see you again soon.